Hello everyone, nubkeks here, welcome back to Nub Raids, and today, a little bit late doing a video, it's the weekend, out and about doing bits, but I was really surprised by this. I feel like the last few of these faction-specific tournaments, it's just been getting worse and worse and worse. The rewards started fairly underwhelming and they've been getting worse, but the Ice Golem Tournament, the final one, just launched this morning. Undead Hordes only. I was actually thinking about maybe skipping this one, to be honest, but look at the rewards that are available to get. And there's actually so far, I mean, it's the weekend as well. I mean, I'm only coming online now myself. Very low participation, very low, but there's a legendary skill tome up for grabs for 2,100 points. In my mind, this is one of the best possible resources to drop just in across the game. I think, you know, for anyone, nearly anyone, apart from a mega whale, right? There's nearly always going to be one, if not 5 or 6 or more legendary champions that you will get that you're just waiting for books to really get to their full potential. I have plenty of champions still like that I want to book up but haven't been able to. So I think that's pretty good. We got some of the medium coins. We got a blue shard, 3-day boost. The rest of the rewards aren't great, but I think if you can go all the way to this legendary book, this is one of the easiest legendary books to get in the game. It really is. This is very simple, very straightforward. So let's see together live if we can pull it off. I think the most straightforward... This is going to be a little bit difficult, right? Undead Hordes. The funny thing about this, right? A lot of people say this faction is really strong. I feel like that's an old school view, right? Like when I was starting playing the game, I remember all the content creators were talking about how strong the Undead Hordes are. And I feel like that's really, it's more of like a whales game, really, or it's a long-term player's game. It's the same with any faction, I suppose. Your luck in getting the legendaries. But I feel like to do this quickly, Crypt King Growl, he'd be okay, of course. But you're looking at champions like Bad El, Mashald, maybe. But I just think it's pretty awkward. In terms of an AoE decreased defense... there's none in the epics. There's no AoE decreased defense that's easily accessible. I think it's just Scartorsus have it. No, it's not him. It's the other one, right? Suzerain, I think. But it's even there. It's still pretty awkward. So I feel like getting through the waves quickly is gonna be annoying. And yeah, I feel like killing the boss itself is gonna be annoying. This was one I absolutely didn't want, Undead Hordes for Ice Golem, but I can see why it won, is that if you've got Bad El, then it's obviously super easy. But yeah, it really comes down to the legendaries that you have. The epics, we've got good epics, but nothing that says to me, beat this dungeon quickly, right? I can beat it slowly, sure, with champions like Vogoth and Dark El Haines, but I don't want to do it slow. I want to do it pretty fast. Frozen Banshee maybe could be useful. We'll try out a couple of teams. Let's go in. My initial thought on doing this is to come in. We'll try out stage 20 first. My initial thought for doing this, guys, is very simple, and that is, if I include my Master Vault, is to just try to solo it with Eurost. So this is not going to be a strategy that's accessible to everyone. He is the second champion legendary from Doom Tower Hard, so it's going to take you quite a while to get him. But I think if you do have him, he could be quite useful. Now remember, we need to include champions, by faction, only Undead Hordes. So don't put in food champions and stuff that aren't undead, or you're going to have yourself a pretty bad time. So let me see. Do we have enough food champions from Undead? Here we go. We've got 3 delightful, rares. Let's throw them in. Let's see how it goes. We're running unlimited frames right now. One thing you could do as well is, you know, seeing as you're going to be using the same sorts of champions, you could come in and you could... you could absolutely just go in and set up an AI preset if you only want them to use specific abilities. I don't think it's really that important. Essentially, the idea of how this is going to work, I actually see these 2 enemies here in green affinity. They're going to be really annoying. So we might want to switch around the different stages to try find something faster. He's going to have a very tough time to actually kill these off. But the idea is that basically whenever they attack him, he's going to poison them. So we're going to get through it slow and steady. You can see he's already mega tanky. There's no way these enemies are going to kill him. It's going to take them a little bit of time. He can potentially start provoking these champions as well. He's got a good chance to provoke whenever they hit him and he has strengthen on. So we could maybe start to provoke these. Though I think the provoke is unfortunately going to wear off at that point. But yeah, I'll be back when we beat this wave. Check in, and we'll see how fast we kill wave 1. Okay, and there we go. Wave 1 down, about 1.5 minutes, right? 1.5 minutes roughly. Wave 2, I think, should be much faster. You can see we're already stacking up these poisons reasonably well. It's going to depend on whether your Eurost is booked or not. He's going to do it faster. It took me a long time to book my Eurost. He is booked now. I think it's sort of worth doing simply because he solos so many Doom Tower bosses, and if there's going to be more events like this, he's going to be good at soloing them as well, funny enough. So yeah, we'll see how quick it takes to get through wave 2. As you can see, survives it no problem. He's so tanky, I'm going to try run him on a higher difficulty. I think he can probably do it. I'll be back when we beat this wave. We're almost there, so I'll be right back. And there we go. Bam. So about less than 1 minute to beat wave 2. So wave 2 is significantly faster. And he's really under no threat at any point. Then we come here, and again, he's going to very slowly kill the ad, but basically every time the boss hits him, he's going to put up poisons. I think I do have him spec'd with War Master. Actually, we'll check his build after this. But I think I do have him with War Master. So he could potentially trigger the boss counterattack, but I think he's probably so tanky that it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Like maybe right here with decreased defense on, there is a chance he could put himself in some trouble, but he builds up so much max HP and he gives himself a shield every time he A1s. Plus the strength, like look at that. I think he's fine. The boss, there's only one enemy dead, but the boss barely made a dent in him. Like he is such a beast. But there we go. Look, I'll cut back to it. You see how this works. They're not going to be able to touch him really at all. It's ridiculous. I'll be back. We'll see how quickly he kills them. It's really dependent on the boss actually attacking. So be right back. I can't believe I actually exited off by accident. I actually exited off. It took him 4 minutes and 20 seconds, guys. That's what it took, roughly. Maybe 4:25 or something like that. But let's say 4 to 4.5 minutes, depending on luck, something like that, with a booked Eurost. So that's not too bad. I think, man, if you had him awakened, it'd actually be great, right? Even a level 1 Brimstone, he's going to do it a lot faster. I think another alternative, if you want to solo, I think Ultimate Death Knight in a toxic set. So he would need to be in the set that lets you do the poison stuff. What's it called? I may not have any spare, or I might have just flicked over it. But I know that Ultimate Death Knight can solo stuff. Maybe I sold it all. Whoops. Hang on, let me double check here. Where is it? There it is, Toxic. I hadn't sold it all. I'm literally just an idiot. That's fine. But yeah, Toxic set with Ultimate Death Knight, he can solo. Obviously because he heals himself. I think Hell Hades has a video on that, excuse me, so I'd recommend going check that out. Brimstone, there's obviously some risk with Brimstone, but I think Eurost especially can run Brimstone, and he's gonna be just fine. A nice aura as well. So you can see I do have mine booked. The nice thing about this, it does up your chance for poison, so that's gonna up the speed of your run. So yeah, and then with artifacts, I have them in regeneration and perception. This is built for Doom Tower. This is for Scarab. This is for the hardest version of Scarab, and he solos it absolutely no problem. No stress at all. Speed is not even important. You could drop the speed. He doesn't really need any. HP, 80,000, 3.5k defense, roughly speaking, you're going to be good. Crit rate's actually going to speed, and crit damage, it actually speed him up quite a bit. So those are nice stats to get to make you run a bit faster. He does hit pretty hard. 200 resistance, not that important. Although, for doing the Ice Golem dungeon run, it's probably worth getting him up to 220, add on the 80 from your aura, so he's at 300 total, and it's going to be very safe. He's going to resist almost all of the debuffs from the ads. So that's something. Let me see if I can glyph it up a bit. And then 300 accuracy is a little bit low for Doom Tower, but we kind of get away with it. Let's see if I can glyph up that resistance a little bit. There's a bit. We could glyph his speed if I wanted, the HP. He's in some fairly random gear. Okay, he's actually pretty glyphed up for resistance, believe it or not. Speed, this one we could glyph it more defense. Could be nice. Here we go. Okay, hang on. Let me throw on a big beefy resistance glyph. And there we go. Bam, done. Fantastic. So he should now be sitting basically where we want him to be. Let me see. This one. No resistance on the amulet, so we could really improve that if we wanted. I'm not that pushed. Let me go see. How does he do on a harder floor? Actually, ooh. Moment of truth, Eurost. Oh, he's not there. He's not there. Kind of tempted to grab Crutraxisol. Tempted. Let me know. Would you buy this? Just because I think she has the multi-hits. So I think I'm not sure if you can proc multiple hits of... Can you? Let me double check that. So let's say you are hypothetically Krutraxa. What I'm thinking is with Phantom Touch, can you proc it multiple times? Inflicting bonus damage whenever you hit enemy targets. Multiple targets at once. I think it's whenever you hit. So can you proc it multiple times, or is it like War Master only procs once? I don't have any High Awakened champions with it, so I don't know. Yeah, maybe not. Second instance. I guess not, so it doesn't matter. Never mind. I'm being an idiot. She'd stack up Cruelty quickly, I guess. Right, let's try this out. So let's jump in. Let's just go straight stage 25. Let's go. See if he can do it. The moment of truth. Can he do it? I mean, he might be in some danger here at the start from that. Yeah, because he's got quite a bit of crit damage with my build. That with the ally protection, he could take some hits. But like, look at that. Look at that healing and self-shielding. He's getting back up. He's getting a bit beat up. Oh, I think he might go down. He will. Interesting. Let me see. Okay, if we edit this team... Yeah, go away. If we do this... Perfect. We got a slot right here. We go recently used. Boom, 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 boom. And we tell him to open with his A1. And we just try like that. Without the ally protection messing him up. I'm pretty worried here. I don't think this is going to work on 25. I'm thinking that wave 2, he's got a lot more health to play with. Oh man, he can be crit though, right? He can absolutely get crit, and that can really mess him up. The strengthen's going to help. It's looking a bit dodgy. He is healing a bit when those poisons go off. There's a bit of a shield. Maybe. We might want to glyph his speed here. Yeah. We'll see. I'm worried about wave 2. The good news is that he's building up all this max HP, right? Whenever he decreases their max HP, whenever they take damage from poison, and it's building up his. So I'm actually fairly hopeful. Maybe he's going to be tanky enough come wave 2 that it's not going to matter. Now, I'll pause it. I'll be right back. We will show you some different teams as well. I'm aware that this has been a Eurost showcase so far. I'll be right back. Here we go. Coming to the end of wave 1. Very slow through it. About 2 minutes 20. We're on to wave 3. This is wave 2. This is the moment of truth. Will he actually survive, or will he die? He's really getting beat up here. I might have spent... Yeah, okay. So 2 minutes wasted, boys. 25. Not looking likely. With a different build, yeah, maybe. But I don't think you want to bother to rebuild your Eurost. You know, like, you could build him with 250 speed and it'd be a different story. But let's be honest, what's the point? We could try out stage 24. Will I do a quick run of 24? I'll do one quick run of 24. I won't make you guys watch this. I'll just let you know if it succeeds or fails with this build. It's the same enemies as 20, but they hit harder. So it's probably going to be a good bit slower. I'll be back. I'll let you know if this works or not. Okay, we're coming up to the end of this run here in 24. He can solo it. Now, it actually got very sketchy at a couple of points. I do have him, like I said, built... Like, this could be kind of scary right there. Look at that. I do have him built with War Master, okay? And we did trigger the big retaliation hit. Both of the ads were alive, and the Ice Golem did his retaliation hit. It hit him for 99,000 and something damage, and he survived because with his 80k health or whatever I built him with, plus his passive increasing that, he actually had enough max HP to survive. So that is good. But you would want to build resistance. Wave 2 was also pretty sketchy of him getting killed at the start. So I think it's pretty difficult. Yeah, like, and seeing as this is so much slower than stage 20, it's about 50% slower, I can definitely say I wouldn't bother doing this. I think you're going to get failed runs in here. It's slower as well, even though it's a bit more efficient energy-wise or whatever. I just run stage 20 with him, and I think he's going to be just fine for that. He's going to solo it really well. With Brimstone, it's going to speed it up a good chunk, and it's going to be good. I haven't shown you his masteries. Again, I do think you've got flexibility here. I have him sent down this way to War Master. You could absolutely ditch this offense side. It's not giving you that much. You could go down the defense tree if you wanted. You get more resistance, more healing, you know, less damage from AoE attacks. You could get Resurgent here. Delay Death is going to help him stay alive. You could absolutely get Retribution. It's not bad on him because he's got such a good A1 shield. That could be valuable. You could get him unshakable as well for more resistance. It's up to you. You get him more accuracy if you need it. Get him oppressor if you want him to move faster. This is like I said, this build is a good solo build for Scarab boss. It works really well for level 20 dungeons, so I'm pretty happy with it. I do think that sniper here, better chance to place your poisons, and then that chance to extend the poisons is worthwhile, guys, as well. So I'd recommend that for sure. And he does need regen set to really stay healthy. It heals him by so much. He could maybe run bolster set too. I think that could work and maybe make him safer. That's something to consider, because bolster set does give you not as much healing, but he doesn't need that much. It gives you slightly less healing, but it gives you a huge shield at the start of the fight. So this would help you get past that second wave sort of hump and all of that. So I think that's a good way to do it. Now, it's not the only way, right? It's not going to be the only way to do this dungeon, though it is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be able to level up food, do it in reasonable time. Let's say you don't have Eurost. What are we going to do instead? I think this is going to get a bit more tricky. In fact, substantially more tricky, but it's going to be worth it because, well, I mean, a legendary skill tome for only that many points in the dungeon is very doable. So it's going to be kind of nasty here. Let's say we're going to stick in. I think this is my properly geared one. I'm not sure. Let me see if he's got a bunch of accuracy. Yeah, okay. So this one is like geared up for kind of these dungeon waves. Let's put in Ultimate Death Knight. I honestly think it might almost be worth using Ultimate Death Knight to solo. Let's put in like a Dark Elhain. Will I put in Vlad? Is that too cheeky? Maybe it's too cheeky. Husk is going to be terrible. Stage 20. We'll put in Frozen Banshee. Morrigan, you could put her in. She could work. Let me put in Vlad just to see. And you could substitute any damage dealer you wanted, like Little Miss Annie. You could put in anybody else. Any epic damage dealers, anyone that's really good in this faction. See, that's why I think it's a bit awkward. It really comes down, the epics just aren't that strong in my opinion. I really think that this faction like used to be amazing, but it's not as good anymore. Vogoth in the final position to give you the best healing. You could really bring in multiple Vogoths if you wanted. Frozen Banshee, does she have gear on? Not really. Let me throw some gear onto her. I'll be right back. Let's see this. Be right back. Right, guys, this is kind of interesting. I've given my Frozen Banshee Phantom Touch. Now, that is because if you look at her build, she's in really bad gear, and I'm not bothered rebuilding her. She's got some damage with like crit rate, some crit damage. She's not built very tanky, and she's in retaliation. So this is more of a damage Frozen Banshee. If you're building her up as like a solo the boss type champion, you'd be better off putting her in regen. You'd be better off not taking Phantom Touch, taking a defensive blessing, and avoiding War Master as well. And the theory there is just to keep her, you want her to be just as survivable as possible, not to trigger the counterattacks, let the poison do the work. And she can absolutely solo the boss. You would need better gear than what I've got on. Let's just double check these other goons, see what they've got. She looks fine, good. And you could use 2 Dark Elhains, it'd actually be pretty good. Vlad he'll be fine. Nothing exceptional really gear wise on him. Defense in all battles, sure. Let's actually just put accuracy in all battles. Defense, yeah, let's go. Let's try accuracy in all battles. All right, let's go. So, how I expect this one to go. I guess I didn't really bring a revive in, did I? That might slow us down a little bit. So I probably should have actually brought in a Gore Grab instead of Vlad for it to be safer. But we've got a couple of nukes, so we'll get through these waves, not in any sort of record-breaking time or anything like that. But I think Vogoth is really good here. He's going to lock them down with the Provoke, which is very handy. You could set up a custom AI preset if you wanted, have him open with his Provoke, but turn it off. And then again, same thing on wave 2. Just let him provoke whenever he wants on wave 2, so that you're trying to always open up these waves with stuff provoked, and then you start to get crowd control down, stuff like that. So, yeah, like right there, he's used his provoke again. We'll see. Let's see how the start of wave 2 goes. Will it work, or is it going to be a disaster? Dark Elhain wasting her nuke right there. So, 46 seconds, we're through. Not bad. It's just a question of, can we get past wave 2 in reasonable time? Let's see, we got a shield on. With the Shriek damage being split, the Shriek really claps, on stage 24 when you're trying to solo. But we're getting through okay. You can see poor old Frozen Banshee, definitely not built the best. She is getting a little bit beaten up here. She luckily cannot be the target because Ultimate Death Knight is going to redirect everything. So yeah, let's see. How hard is she going to hit herself? bearing in mind that reflect damage can absolutely wreck you when they get reflect damage up. Vlad might find himself a little bit wrecked as well. The shield going on from Ultimate Death Knight. Really I feel like, yeah, Ultimate Death Knight really hard carries this as well, to be fair. Okay, good. So let's see. We're going to get through this wave about 145. No, a bit quicker. Sorry, 140. All right. On to the boss. Let's see how this goes. So this could go wrong because we're going to be doing more hits. We're going to trigger more of these counterattacks. So we're hoping for the protection from Ultimate Death Knight and the passive from Vogoth to keep us in the game here. We do have Leech out from Vogoth and from Vlad as well, consistently. So that will help us heal up and stay in it. Decrease attack from Ultimate Death Knight. Also good. You see, these champions are very vulnerable to being killed. Ultimate Death Knight passive as well really helps if some of the team die off. And wow, look at that. That's unlucky. The move that lets Frozen Banshee put poison on the boss just got resisted. So it's actually going to slow us down a lot because I think we'll trigger his counterattack and respawn adds. Yep. Before she comes around to it again. So that's going to slow it down a lot, which sucks. I'm almost thinking if maybe I should run it again because I'm curious now to see what would happen. If he was poisoned, you might push him to a second counterattack while this new set of adds is still alive. That being said, even without decreased defense, we're killing them pretty well. Let's see. Will we beat Eurost is the question. We're almost at 3 minutes right now. Can we beat the Eurost solo? I wonder. Let me know. Have you built Ultimate Death Knight as a solo champion as well? Right, I'll pause it. We'll come back when we've beaten this thing and we'll see what the ultimate time is. Here we go. Here we go. Big slam. So just so you could see that right there, hopefully did it at the right sort of time, but we had the 2 adds alive. We had the slam in from the boss with the decreased attack. I don't know what sort of protection was out. The Vogoth passive. We lived that counterattack slam, no problem. So yeah, with this team, with Ultimate Death Knight Vogoth, you're really not in any danger of being wiped out. So that's good to know. Right, and we are going to beat the time. Actually, we might as well keep it going at this point. He's so low. And I guess when he does the counterattack slam, obviously Dark Elhaine starts popping off. She gets off for extra attacks there. Gives herself increased attack. Yeah, so there we go. 4 minutes, right, with this team. Dark Elhaine did most damage. Vlad a little bit. You could bring in Gore Grab, like I said, to speed it up. Frozen Banshee really didn't do much. I'm going to be honest. I'd probably replace her. In fact, let's do a real quick replace Aruni. Let's do that. So if we take out Frozen Banshee, she just didn't do much. Didn't do much. I'll do one quick run with Gore Grab instead. See how it goes. But yeah, with the increased attack is what I'm trying to see. That should up the damage of the nukers, clear through the waves a bit faster. Don't think it's really going to slow us down the boss. So Gore Grab comes in. He's going to give us increased attack. And he's also going to give us healing and a revive. And he's built like this. Here we go. Let's go. I'll just run this one through. I'll let you know what the results were at the end. Well, let's just see the first wave here. How much harder do we hit them? I mean, a little bit harder. Dark Elhaine should be the one that hits the hardest here. It's a good hit. They're definitely lower. So let's see. Anyway, I'll be back at the end. We'll see how far we get, how quickly. Okay, so again, we're probably going to see a retaliation hit pretty soon. In fact, let me target the boss just to see this. We also have Brimstone on the boss from Ultimate Death Knight, which is going to speed us up. Here we go. So you can see that hit comes in. And they're really able to tank it pretty much no problem. Vogoth really helps here. The decreased attack, like I said, from Ultimate DK. We're getting through this in pretty good speed. Again, a regular hit comes in. It's on stage 20 here with Vogoth. It's really not that bad. And Dark Elhaine is really speeding it up, which is popping off with Death's Majesty now constantly. She's going to do it again. Here we go. We get one little counterattack. Death's Majesty. Will Brimstone hit then after? No Brimstone hit. I guess the counterattack doesn't count it. Anyway, should be pretty quick here. I think this is going to be our fastest run so far. 3 minutes and something. Weak hit there. Cool. Yeah, so about 3 minutes 20 or so. Yeah, interesting stuff. I did go and check, guys, to confirm for you. I went back, and here we go. Can you guys see that? Yeah, you can. Good. So we have here Hell Hades. Bam. Hell Hades. There he is, the man himself. You might have heard of him. But this was about 2 months ago. Everyone do this Ultimate Death Knight. He actually soloed stage 25 with Ultimate Death Knight. Now, it took 9 minutes. And he is in a very specific set of gear. You can go check out the video. I don't want to rip off his video. But that's worth knowing. Ultimate Death Knight, built in Toxic, basically, with very specific stat requirements. Can do stage 25 in 9 minutes. Is it worthwhile? in my opinion, probably not. Like, if you got him built like that already, then great. I like to build my Ultimate Death Knight, though, in Stone Skin. I think he's a great arena champion. I think that's pretty much more valuable to you, in my opinion, than soloing stage 25, unless that's your only way to do stage 25, in which case, you know, for missions and stuff, then yeah, sure. But yeah, that's sort of, I hope you enjoyed this video where it was sort of an exploration together of how stuff was working. Maybe it was a bit annoying. You just wanted to see the answers. I don't know. I thought we'd just try something a bit different. But yeah, I think you can do stage 24, 25. Probably Eurost can do it with the right gear, but I don't think it's worth it. Just leave him in your standard Eurost solo the Scarab build. He can do stage 24, but just have him do stage 20, honestly. You could have Ultimate Death Knight do stage 25 in a specific solo build, and that's fine. Or you can just do stage 20, maybe stage 21 for the positive affinity for Ultimate Death Knight. That might matter. I don't know. You can do stage 20 like I've been doing with the sort of teams that we showed off, like a Frozen Banshee type team. I think Ultimate Death Knight with a Vogoth and then just a bunch of damage like Dark Elhain. Hopefully you're lucky enough to have a Vogoth. Dark Elhain is a login champion, Ultimate Death Knight login champion. So if you got those, you're good enough to go. My preferred way, though, is very simply stick in Eurost with 4 food champions from that faction. He is going to solo this in about 4 minutes. I think with Brimstone, it's going to be more like, it could go down to 3.5, maybe even 3. Like Brimstone could potentially really speed you up. But he can do it quickly, and you level up food at the same time to prep for the next fusion. So that's always helpful. Guys, there you go. I'm going to leave him off to run his stuff. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.